Wild pig.
All right, our lure is all dry from its swim tests here. So now we need to glue it together. Let's take these guys out. I may have messed that up. Yeah, I might have leaded that in place. No worries, we can work around it. No big whoop. All right, here on Regular Guy Lures, we are not sponsored by anybody except for my paycheck, but I always like to use JB Weld, the Clear Weld, their professional grade epoxy. Anyway, I found it's the one that stays the clearest. If you're going to actually clear coat your lures with it, it's not affected by UV light. A lot of other epoxies will yellow in the sunlight over time. This stuff doesn't, but it does smell like a skunk, so it's got that going for it. That's probably going to be way too much. There's that nice skunky smell. Oh yeah, bringing me right back to my good old days of using this stuff right here. Days before UV resin. Every clear coat was done on with this stuff here. Makes a nice thick hardy clear coat. Thick and hardy. Like am I making a stew? I don't know. You can stop talking, Regular Guy. Nobody would be upset about that. All right. What I should have is a plan about what to do with those. So I need some little vice grips, like such. All right, there they are. And they're color coordinated for me too. Please ignore my vicious guard doodle. She sits on the bow of my boat while I work in the shop here. Just to explain to everybody that this is her street. Which is pretty hilarious because up close and personal to any other living creature and not living creatures, she is terrified of everything else. So, okay. Well, that was good. It didn't really even squish out. Pretty nice. To help that along, we'll use our bucket of rubber bands just to kind of keep it from wiggling around. I don't think it's really going anywhere. It's not like we're going to take this thing out on the highway or anything like that. Look at that mess. And the workbench all a mess now. A good coat of epoxy on here. Yep, and then put it face down on your plate. Good work. This one's going to be the one that definitely wants the rubber bands because it wants to pivot. Much like Ross in a stairwell. I think that's going to be that. Made up way too much epoxy, as always is the case. So we'll let these harden and then we're going to start the painting process. You protecting us? Good doggy. You a good dog? Hey, welcome back, regular viewers. We're at the indoor shop today. It's 35 out and the regular shop is not heated, so I got to get some paint on these guys here, but in order to do that, it needs to be a little bit warmer. I've been heating these up for the past couple hours just so they can accept some paint. I got to do just a little bit of sanding. I got some super gluage right here that kind of went awry. I did end up putting a coating of, what is this stuff? 2-part epoxy. I did do the 2-part epoxy to hold these pieces together, but then I decided to brush the whole lure down with it because I made way too much, just to give it another nice coating to paint over. This stuff, the balsa wood, for some reason, you know, when I sealed it with polyurethane, it still never got that smooth finish. I did 3 coats, believe it or not, of polyurethane, and it just kind of sucked it right up. So I think the wood was good and sealed all the way through, but just never gave me that nice shiny finish here. So we're just going to do a little bit of sanding just to clean this up right here as our president is swore in on the live feed over there. I just want to smooth down these little bubbles right here. I don't think it's going to matter too much. You can see that imperfection on there. There we go. Kind of see it sticking up there. I think it's just going to kind of get in my way a little bit as the lure tries to flex. So that looks much better. Much more smooth. Now again, this area right here was a little problematic when it glued back together. you know, it's not flush like it was before. But I think once I get the spray paint on there, you'll probably still see this line, but we're gonna kind of make that go away just a little bit here. Using 220 here because I don't want to go crazy taking material off. Just kind of trying to smooth out this line. Now after this is painted, we're going to have to recut that slot there to get our fiber tail in there. I still haven't decided exactly what I'm going to make that out of, but I've been thinking about it all weekend. Just trying to clean it off here. We're going to go spray paint this. All right, I'm going to go bring these outside and just spray paint them. Base coat of silver, and then we're going to get started once that dries on doing the final paint job on these. I want to say dogs so bad. All right, regular viewers. So because of the fun weather here, the 35 degrees, I am not going to be able to airbrush this. I definitely can't airbrush it in the house. My hypocrisy goes only so far. The silver paint has dried, as you can see right here by the way that it is. The shiny paint obviously accentuates any of your mistakes or flaws in the ointment there. Flies in the ointment. But yeah, so you can obviously really see that line. But that's okay. This is just a road to getting better at it. I'm never going to make a knock out of the park super duper excellent bait, but I did like this technique. So maybe the next one will be a little bit better. So I've been practicing a little bit of my hand painting skills, and we'll see what we come up with here at the end. Obviously lost a little bit of my detail when I put the clear coat on it, but that's all right. These are just lines to help me remember where the detail was. And I can hopefully paint over any mistakes I'm making, like that one right there. What I think I'm going to try to do is paint this with dots. I don't know if these will level out as they dry. I hope so. I'll hit it with a little heat just to kind of encourage that behavior. Can't go too crazy though because it'll start to bubble. So that's probably enough. Sorry about the bad camera angles here. I've never really done this like this before, so we're just trying to make it happen, make it work for you in this different location. I don't even know if this paint job is going to work. If it doesn't, then we'll just have to wait till it warms up a little bit and then just go over the whole thing again like it never happened. I'm going to put the line, I still put the dot in the wrong place. What can you do? You ever waste the time mixing up a color you're not interested in? That's what I just did right here. Let's try this again. This fish is starting to look like that candy tape stuff. Remember that with the dots on it? I've got my lure drying. I'm gonna make the final color up now. This is extra fine hologram powder, and this is basic gloss acrylic, so it's pretty much clear. So in this, I'm going to take advantage of because I cannot squirt this stuff out of the airbrush gun that I have. So we're going to try to make something A lot of experimenting going on here. I want a lot of that stuff in it. I guess the lighting's not too good there. But it looks like there's a whole lot of sparkle in that stuff. We'll have to see how it comes out on the lure. Let's really make a mess. I mean, finish this project. This stuff's really not painting, per se. So this paint job came out very poorly. I got a flashlight shining on it though. The hologram flake actually dispersed nicely, but the paint itself clumped up. So when I shut the light off, you can just see it looks rather ugly. I did add a little bit of red down the bottom, just, you know, for that little gill look there. So we're gonna put eyes on this, which is like putting lipstick on this pig, as it were. And you see that? I'll move it around with the camera, how well the camera's picking it up. But where it's not all clumpy, there you go, there's a good view. It is quite sparkly, and that color does come through, at least on my end, the little dots I put in there. So, I don't know. I think maybe it was the epoxy and the spray paint. If it was probably just more bare wood, we probably would have had a less clumpy paint job there, because it just continued to dot up, as it were. I don't know if that's a thing to say, but we're going to put our eyes on it, and we're just going to keep trying to make lobster out of tuna fish here. Learning a lot of lessons with this lure. I guess I got to be a better painter if I'm going to try and paint by hand, but knowing how my materials work together is probably going to be a big part of that. I think when I put the clear coat on it, it may not look quite so nasty, but again, that eye always really helps. And I probably do want to put a shad dot on it too. I kind of forgot that in the mix there. One thing I did like that came out though is the when I drew the lines with that black Sharpie for the gill bits there and painted over it, that actually made it more subtle. Oops, and then I put the eye in the wrong place. It actually made it more subtle, and then you can kind of see that detail, but it's not obnoxious like me. So, ugly paint job, but very sparkly. Hopefully the clear coat will make it look nicer. I do need to affix a shad dot to it though. Let me go do that before I forget about it. Practicing my shad dotting down here. Okay. It does not have to be a perfect circle. I just don't want all sorts of bristles in it. Try and get it relatively in the same locale on both sides. Because if it's not symmetric, the fish will see it and then go, oh my gosh, what a terrible job that guy did. I don't even want to eat it now. All right, we're going to stop there before it gets too big. Next thing you know, the whole bait will be black. That would actually probably be a little bit better. I want to like do the, yeah, I used to do this like here, and I kind of put little spots on it just to kind of break up the silliness, but we're going to stick with the less is more technique and just be done. All right, I am going to do one more thing to try and ruin this bait. I mixed that hologram paint with the darker color here. I'll be right back. My wife and kids just got home. It's about to get really loud here. All right, so the family's returned. I'm going to continue to try and, just fade this into the rest of the lure. But it's going to be really loud, and the doggy's trying to jump on me here. So the rest of this will be, I'll just show you when I'm done, because this will be ridiculous to try to actually film right now. All right.
Yeah, well,
say, we shall return.
We shall return.
All right. On our quest to make lobster out of tuna fish, I think that fading in of that black-gray sparkliness actually worked to get us a little bit better finish. If I were to put a flashlight on it, you see some really nice sparkles and spots. So again, I think that clear coat is going to rescue us. It made it, I kind of patted the brush on it, and that made it, not a nice even line. Again, this is still raw and ugly looking, but I think we're getting there to something that won't be so terrible, which is the goal, the regular goal. Okay, so this is what I've come up with, the tail, or for a tail, using the hair tinsel. So now I have to recut this groove back here, hopefully without destroying my lure that I worked so hard on thus far. All right, so I'm going to try to set that quickly with the UV light and then try to peel the tape back. We'll see what a mess we make. All right, I put the plate under here because I don't imagine a lot of this is going to stay. So far, a surprising amount has stayed. Lord willing, this B-side will be just as well. That's a really wispy tail right there. Looks like he's got a tail pattern baldness, I guess. We'll have to try and do something about that. Oh man, now that was a fail right there. You hear that, regular editor? We messed up. All right, let's start over. All right, here is attempt 2 at the tail. I've put the hair tinsel in some plastic wrap because I think it'll come off it easier, but it's still holding it. And I'm going to put it over this here piece of wax paper, and we will try and glue this together like so. That was probably too much, but I'm hoping it'll go flat, and then it'll go flat on there, and then we can peel it off of the wax paper and kind of have it stuck together. All right, I'm going to hit it with the UV light, see before we get too crazy here if this is going to work or not. Magic. All right, the battery keeps dying on the phone, so I may have to just kind of work here and then show you the results later, but let me see if we can't separate these two. Oh, maybe? Okay. All right, I think we sort of got it. We have to trim the tail after the fact. Because it looks like it's sliding out of that. But we do have... Okay, well that was somewhat successful. Let's try this one more time here. Now we're going to put the hinges in. Sorry, like I said, we had some battery issues here. This is the tail I came up with. So it's the right shape. The problem was when it was sitting in the UV chamber, it went off to one side. I'm hoping that it is wispy and insignificant enough that it really doesn't affect the direction. If it does, I'm just going to cut it out and redo it later on. Well, we let the dog out here, apparently. So every time you re-clear coat, you got to re-drill these holes out just to make sure that they're ready for the hinges. So let's get those in right now. I got to go find my super guy. Helps when you hit the record button. Regular guy is really messing up tonight. So we have, these are glued in place now. So now we're just going to do the other side. So what I was trying to say the first time, but I got rudely interrupted by myself, was I squirted a little glue down in the hole, and more so on this side than the other side because you got to kind of do these at the same time. Get them started, press them in, and this takes a little bit of manipulation sometimes because you got to make sure the screw heads are going the right direction. And then I put a little drop of glue on the threads of it there, trying not to get glue on the joint. And you have to make sure these are 90 degrees to each other so that it has the most ability to swivel and pivot like Ross with a couch in a hallway. But I think we're pretty much done. We just got to put the hooks on it now, and try not to stab yourself with one like such when you're picking it up. Just let it dry. The deep spot in between these two islands. So in between these islands are all dredged out. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Oh! Whoa! Huge fish! Right on the Glidebait. It's the first time we use it.
Thank you, Lord. What a hit.
Whoopee!
He clobbered that.
Look at that.
And he got a pile of weeds with it.
That is a big bass.
Look at that guy. Thank you, Lord.
Woo. You love that.
Was it the fiber tail? Is that what it was, Bass, huh? Look at that.
Oh, it's a real nice bass.
Take some pictures with that?
All right.
Hey, what are you kids doing?
You stay regular.